Welcome to VetterView. My name is Cesar Rubio, and I created this podcast to show some raw experiences and challenges service members face during service and transition to the civilian world. I'd not only like for us to be able to share our experiences, but offer advice to others who could be facing similar challenges and give people a different perspective and understanding to the challenges we face.
Go ahead and introduce yourself. That way, everybody gets an idea of what
Do
branch.
I need to say my first and last name or just?
You can just say your first name, whatever you feel comfortable with, man. It's all good.
I'm Zach, and I was in the Marine Corps from 2008 to 2012. I was an ordnanceman. I spent 7 months in Afghanistan, and I've been out. Well, for 8 years now.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
8 years. So you said you got to go to Afghanistan. You only stayed in one unit, right?
So once I finished school and everything, I went to Mal 16 in Miramar, and then when I San Diego, and so when I deployed I was augmented with HMH 465. I was still like, my parent unit was Mal 16,
right?
But when I got to Afghanistan, since I was eye level, our eye level, everything was like a combination of it was HMLA 269, 260, or no, not 2, it was 169, 167, HMH 465, Mal 16, Mal 26.
And those are all individual units? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
That
it was all like combined together to make up Mal's 40.
Oh, okay.
And so Mal's 40 existed for that time that we were there. And then once we left, it just kind of dissipated. So,
okay. So it was made for that.
Back to our units.
It was made for that deployment, is what it was.
Yeah.
It was a combination of a bunch of stuff, of a bunch of other units to make one unit for that deployment. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. And how'd you like beautiful Afghanistan? How was
that? It was weird because when I first, on the plane on the way there, I started having real bad toothache. And as soon as we land, I was a Lance Corporal at the time, and I told my staff sergeant, I was like, hey, like, my tooth is killing me. I need to see a dentist right now, like emergency. And it was the end of the day. Everyone was tired from a 2-day plane flight, and so this one staff sergeant, God bless him, but he took me, we rocked all around Camp Leatherneck looking for the damn dentist, and we finally find him. And they weren't like taking anyone for the rest of the day. And it's like the last few appointments of the day were still there. And I was like, look, I have got to see him. And this dude was like some Polish guy. It was set up in a tent. And that was where I had my first wisdom tooth pulled. And it didn't hurt at all. Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, they pulled it and it was fine. I don't know, like, if it was the cabin pressure inside the plane or if it, like, what it was, but I never had a toothache like that. And so like that was my first day in Afghanistan.
That's a great way to start a deployment.
They gave me SIQ for 3 days, and I was like,
I'm good.
I can go to work now. Like, I don't need this. Like, I'm fine.
Right.
It didn't hurt at all. Like,
it might just be the protocol. You know how they even do that for some guys in boot camp. I think they get 3 days as well.
Yeah, or like 1 day or something.
Yeah, something. It's a terrible experience in there from what I've heard. I never got my wisdom teeth removed. I don't have any.
I remember when I was back in the States, I remember they just like told me in a formation one day, like, Ratliff, you got to go see dental today. And I was like, what? I don't have a dental appointment. They're like, go see him. It was in Miramar.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, like, do they just want to do a checkup? They call me back there, and the doctor starts like numbing me, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, oh, we're gonna pull your other 3 wisdom teeth. And I was like, what?
Oh
And
shit!
they pulled them and they hurt so much. I was like, it hurts so much more than
The one you
the
got
Polish
from that
dude.
Polish dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't know.
maybe they got some secret techniques
I guess.
that they learned in fucking good old Afghanistan.
Or,
Fuck, man.
or
What
something.
what would, yeah. What would you say? So when we were going back home, I always thought the experience of flying back and you're like over the United States was fucking once in a lifetime, or if you deploy a few times. But the first time that you get back home, it's just an amazing experience when you fucking first land.
Yeah.
Did you have that same? Did you have that same sort of feeling?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool. Like,
Was it weird though? Did it take a little bit?
It kind of was. Like, so when we were like when the plane like we're coming on down on our descent, but you could feel when the wheels touched the runway,
Right.
the whole plane, you know, everyone's cheering and
of course,
and plane parks and the ramp goes down and everyone's filing off, and they let us off first. Because there was another Army unit on the plane that was going to El Paso, Texas. And so they came off the plane last. So, you know, because they weren't yet, like, it wasn't their welcoming time yet.
Right.
But, like, when we came off the plane, you know, it wasn't a C-17 or anything like that. It was like a Boeing 777. It was like a commercial airliner.
Right.
And, you know, here comes all these heavily armed Marines, like off this plane, all like just armed to the teeth. And, you know, there's the band playing, and there's people that are right at the edge. Like, first there's like the generals that are there welcoming you back. Like, I shook a general's hand.
That's awesome.
But, and then there's like just civilians that they recruited to like hold flags and stuff. And my dad and my brother was one of them.
No shit.
And so, like, I was one of the first ones off the plane, but they had to stand there and like hold the flags for everyone else getting off. So I stood and waited. And I'm like, just sitting there in the crowd.
Yeah. That's crazy. It sounds like you got
like,
a pretty great welcoming.
Yeah, it was. And like,
you guys landed in Miramar?
Huh?
Did you guys land in Miramar? Sorry.
Yeah, we landed on the airfield in Miramar.
Fuck. Nice.
Yeah.
We have to go to March. March Air Force Base in Palm. Like, I don't even know where the fuck that's at. I just fall asleep on the bus every time. But March Air Force Base, we had to drive like an hour and a half. Well, they drove us like an hour and a half away.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it just took that much longer to fucking get.
It's like
to 29 palms.
Like, okay, now it's a bus ride.
And then you get to fucking another shithole desert, 29 palms. You know?
Yeah, I spent a month in 29 Palms.
Beautiful.
I was with enhanced Mojave Viper.
Yeah, because everybody goes down there everybody sees it at least once. It's a beautiful visiting place for anybody who wants to vacate to California and you're trying to get some good sun and some good beaches. Just visit 29 Palms.
Some good tattoo shops and strip clubs.
Yeah. The
stores,
bars, dude. The shit, you know. But carrying on with this, why would you say that you enlisted?
I joined the military because I always felt a calling to serve.
Okay.
And then, so when I was joining, I talked like I was 7. I had just turned 18. I remember now because like I couldn't get my parents didn't want me to join the Marines.
Of course not.
But you know, when I was 17, that was when I was approached by, you know, privates fresh out of boot camp on recruiting, you know.
Yeah, recruiting duty. Yeah.
And so, you know, I didn't know. Like, I was a senior, and I was wearing a senior hoodie in Walmart.
He was like, "That's it, right there. That's who I'm going after."
He approached me, and I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Like, I knew I was going to join the military. So I talk to the recruiter, and the recruiter tells me gives me the no speech. Anything that the MEPS doctor asks you, say no, no, no. Have you ever taken this? Have you ever done that? No, no.
The no
So
speech. That's
yeah, but it was right before my 18th birthday, and so I was like, I told my parents about it, and they're like, well, we're not signing for you, because you as a 17, you can join at 17, but you have to get your parents to sign for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, okay, I'll wait a few months till I'm 18.
Yeah.
Or it was like 1 month. It was like November. And so, I turned 18, and then I go to MEPS. It was like, I think it was like it was right after Christmas, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go up there and go through the whole thing, and then come back. And then like maybe 2 weeks later, my recruiter calls me, and he's like, or no, he didn't call me. I got a letter in the mail from MEPS saying that I had been disqualified from any branch of service for a full year because when my urine tested positive for dextrose and amphetamines, which is Adderall. And I took Adderall once a day, every day before school.
No shit.
And so, like at that point, like I was like, I'm never taking this shit again. Like I'm not taking it. And so I wait a year. Was
it for like medical purposes that you would take it?
No, it was ADHD.
Okay.
It was it was prescribed by a doctor.
Right.
But like not medical. It was like ADHD. It was a
prescription. So,
yeah. What the fuck? So a year later, I go back and start talking to the Navy because like, my dad had, he shook my hand, and he wanted me to like promise him that I wasn't going to join the Marines, that, I would join the Air Force or the Navy.
Right.
And I like, my heart wasn't in it. And so I just started talking to the Navy recruiter about like, special forces contracts, like, I want to do SWIC or SEALs or something like that. If I'm going to join the Navy, that's what I'm going to join for. But my heart wasn't in it. Yeah. It was like, because I had already talked to the Marines, and that was where my heart was. Yeah. For sure. And so, I had got my medical records transferred over, and, had to prove that, it wasn't an illegal fucking drug.
Yeah.
And I'd been off of it for over a year. And luckily my doctor was right down the street, and he was super like helpful and everything. He would see me like without an appointment. I could just, he was great.
Nice.
But then I was like, I would kept calling the recruiter like, hey, like, have you heard anything? Like what's going on with this? Have you heard anything back from MEPS? And he's just like, oh yeah, call me back, I'll call you in about a week. And they would never call. And I call them, and then it's like, oh yeah, I did hear back. And I'm like, well, why didn't you call me?
Yeah, what the fuck's going on? Right.
Yeah. And so I was like, you know what, fuck this. And so I called the Marine recruiter, and I'm like, hey, I want, like, this never happens to them. I gotta believe that they never get this. Like, hey, I want to join the Marines.
Right. Yeah. Just somebody saying like directly that they want to join. Yeah.
And so he's like, okay. So he got all my information transferred over from the Navy recruiter. And I, got signed up for boot camp, and fucking, I was scheduled. This was like early 2008, like February or March of 2008.
Right.
And I was scheduled to leave September 2nd of 2008. But then my recruiter in April, he calls me, he's like, hey, how would you feel if you shipped July 8th? And I was like, and this was April, and I was like, yeah. I got a job at Walmart right now. I'm 19. I'm a cart pusher at Walmart.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, yeah, I just need you to come into the office to sign these papers, because you're going to get a bonus. Like, once you hit the fleet, you're going to get $5,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll be right there.
You're like, that's more money than I've ever seen.
Right.
Yeah, totally. Especially just joining, being what were you, 19 when you joined?
Yeah, I was 19,
I turned
and
19 in
so
boot camp when I joined.
yeah, so I shipped July 8th, go to San Diego,
hmm
and it's like I go through the initial week, the P, like they call it the P week or the processing week,
Receiving week,
and
right?
then yeah, and so I went for 1 week, and then the second week of training, I fractured, like I had a stress fracture in my shin, and I went to
Oh
medical for
shit.
shin splints,
Yeah.
and then I went back to my squad bay, and my senior drill instructor calls me. He's like, "Hey, uh, I got to take you somewhere else." And I was like, "What?" I was like,
Oh
"He's
no.
like," I was like, "Wait, what?" And like as I'm like following him, I'm like in tears because
Yeah.
I'm like how fucking long am I going to be here now? So I spent 2 weeks in the medical platoon,
Oh no.
and then I picked back up. I was in Kilo Company, and then I picked back up with Hotel Company 2 months later. And then like when I'm in the platoon, I started asking the other recruits like, "Hey, like what date did you guys ship to boot camp?" They were telling me, we shipped September 2nd, like September 1st, September 2nd, September 3rd."
Right.
I was like, so this is probably the exact platoon I would have been in
Originally.
originally.
Yeah. No shit.
So now I guess I got $5,000 coming my way.
Did you end up getting those?
Yeah, I didn't like. So I went through boot camp, I went through combat training, I went through fucking Pensacola, I went through Cherry Point, and forgot about it. Totally forgot about it.
I bet it was
And
nice,
then
huh?
once I got to Miramar, I checked in, and I'm checking in with like IPAC, and they're like, "Oh, hey, so you got this? You're gonna get this $5,000 deposit." I was like, "Oh yeah!" I was like, "Yes,
Yeah, it was all worth it.
yes,
$5,000.
yeah."
Oh man, that's cool. I wish I fucking ended up getting a bonus. I
Yeah,
didn't get
yeah. The
shit.
army gives you like $40,000. Fuck.
Yeah, they're really trying to get people. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they don't give a fuck. They'll throw money at you. Um,
yeah,
what would you out of your whole 4 years? Obviously, there was good and bad experiences. It's the fucking
yeah,
Marine Corps, obviously.
yeah.
What would you say you got? What were some good things that you got out of it, and what were some
Pussy.
pussy? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. So that's it,
Yeah,
huh?
dude.
That's good. Hey,
No, like it taught me how to be a man.
sorry, I'm still. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it makes you grow up a little bit faster, for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and fucking, it gave me confidence.
mhm.
It's like
Puts you in
it
leadership
gave,
roles.
yeah,
And
it
honestly,
gives me this like belief that like, hey, I've done this. There's nothing that can fucking stop me now. You
right?
know?
Yeah, yeah. It totally gives you an extreme boost in confidence.
Yeah,
I think it's mostly because you look back and you're like, fuck. Like even now, look,
yeah,
even now when I look back and I think about the things that I've done, it's just like, holy shit. Like it's wild. I can't even reimagine doing those things. Like I'm glad I did it. No regrets at all. No
yeah.
regrets. It was a good bad
Regrets.
times. Yeah, great friends. Lifelong friends for sure. Um,
Yeah.
and why would you say that you didn't reenlist, man? Was it just
So
trying to
I,
move on?
I so I wanted to reenlist,
Mm-hmm.
but like they started doing like that, the drawdown and
Oh,
fucking.
okay.
So I had like a first class CFT
Mm-hmm.
because like they didn't, like when I joined they didn't have the CFT,
Oh no
and then
shit.
like halfway through my time in they started the CFT,
That shit
and
sucks.
then yeah, like the CFT, like I was good at that,
Me too.
and the PFT, like I could not run 3 miles faster than, like, my fastest time ever was 23 minutes.
No shit.
Oh my God.
That shit sucks, man.
Yeah, like,
And it's only 3 miles. Like, it's not terrible, but fuck.
yeah, dude, I was like, my average time would have been like 27. Like, I think, like, my usual time was later. Like, I had like a 27:08 and a 27:38, and I was like
Just not a
seconds
runner, huh?
away.
Yeah,
And
from
then there
failing.
was times that I actually like I couldn't do it in 28 minutes. Like,
Oh,
I was not a runner.
Was that closer to the end or just in like during your
Yeah, closer to the end.
Yeah,
and,
but the fucks that you give are also a lot less when you're
right.
when you're further in your contract.
But like, I wanted to, have that, and I just like, I had my reenlistment package ready to go.
Fuck, man.
And so like, I was just, I don't know, I sold myself short, and I just kind of like it was an internal conversation I had with myself, like, oh, they'll never fucking they'll, because I'm not like the perfect green side Marine,
Sure.
I'll never be able, I won't be accepted for reenlistment, which in fact probably wouldn't have been true.
No,
I mean,
no
I had, basically, if it didn't have tracks, I had a license for it. Wow. And I had, I was a gun CDI. I was working on.
What's gun CDI?
Oh, right, your ground side. I forgot. So CDI is collateral duty inspector.
Okay.
So in the aviation maintenance side, you have the NAMP, which is it's the Naval Aviation something maintenance procedure.
Okay.
It's like a big technical publication, and it describes all of like the quality assurance and the maintenance protocols and the CDIs. Mm-hmm. So basically, you got your AVI, power plants, airframes, ordnance, all your different aviation shops.
Right.
And each one of those shops within that main shop, you got smaller shops. So for instance, in ordnance, you have gun shop, you got rack shop, Aussie, which is the aviation like weapons system equipment. Rack shop is like the racks that hang off of the wings of jets and stuff that hang the bombs on them.
Right.
You got munitions. You got
There's a lot of different. Yeah. Right. Okay.
And so each one of them has a CDI so all of them except for munitions and ASRS have CDIs. So if it's maintenance related, it has to have a CDI, because the CDI is like an arm of the quality assurance of QA.
Okay.
And so you have a QA shop that's central and that, controls all of these other shops.
Okay.
And they have to make sure that, the maintenance is being done correctly and on time and everything. Safety, otherwise, it can cost lives.
Procedures, all this shit. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Huh. And so basically that CDI is someone who's done this for a while. I had to take so many tests for this. And it's an honor to do it. Right. You got your stamp. And so it went from me being the one always breaking down the guns and cleaning them and then having someone else inspect it. Now I was the one inspector. Yeah.
So it gives you a good sense of responsibility, especially when it comes to looking at all these other things.
Yeah, man. And it was also like a leadership role too, because like I had, as a corporal, as a CDI, I had other Marines under my tutelage. Yeah. I was the one teaching them how to break down the 50 cals and clean them and headspace in time and all this stuff.
Yeah, I think that was something the Marine Corps is pretty fucking good at. It's putting you in a situation where you either show your leadership characteristics and skills, because it puts you in like, I had 8 guys underneath me.
Yeah.
That we had to get ready. We had to train them.
Yeah, and you got to be responsible for their green side training as well.
Oh, for sure.
Everything, for sure. Not just their.
And green side, that means like
personal development
back home, here at home, and not being overseas. Because there's two different there's two different sides of the Marine Corps. It's
Yeah.
like being here, which we call garrison, and then being overseas, which is also a completely different set of mind or mindset that you would have. Especially, but you have to train all these fucking 18-year-old, 19-year-olds to be ready for whatever
I
situation.
was 23. I was 22, 23.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Training 18, 19-year-olds.
Yeah, to fucking be able to do this shit in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
It does really good at that.
So like, and it was weird for me. Like as soon as I picked up Corporal, I got my CDI stamp like maybe 2 months before I picked up Corporal, and so it was like as a Lance Corporal CDI,
right.
like sergeants who didn't have a CDI stamp, like they were doing maintenance on guns, and they were coming to me like, hey, can you can you inspect this for me? And like I would be the one to inspect it, and if it wasn't good enough, I'd have to tell them, like, respectfully, of course, like, hey, Sergeant. And the thing is as a CDI, I was not allowed to actually do maintenance, like perform the actual maintenance. I would be the one to pull maths off of Nalcomas and do all that stuff, and tell my Marines like, okay, we need to pull this gun, this gun, this gun, and this gun for 28-day inspections, and then we got this squadron coming in, and I would be the one. Okay, so we would do lates, which is basically if you're on late duty, then you go home at 16:30. But like a squadron is out flying, they might be out in Yuma or they might be in El Centro or something.
Yeah,
like flying over the gun ranges and stuff, and then they come back. They don't get back till midnight, 1 in the morning.
Right.
But they can only store those guns in our armory, and like it's a class 5 vault. Like you got to have keys to get into the main building, keys to get through the door of the armory, then the gate of the armory. Then there's you got to go to a safe, do a code in there, open it, take out a pistol and strap up. Jeez. Then you got to disarm a security system that if it's set off, it'll call military police.
PMO, right?
Yeah. And then you got to do the code on the class 5 vault. Then it opens, and then inside the vault there's cages that you need keys for that are in the safe.
Wow, that's good. I mean, you got to keep
like the squadrons don't have like access to all that. They have to, so they had to call you in the middle of the night, like, hey, like we're back. We're gonna be back at the shop in 15 minutes. Can you meet us there? Yeah.
It's like the armory guys, right? Who would have to show up at fucking 3 in the morning before everybody.
Like I had to assign like, okay, you did lates last night, you're gonna do lates tonight, and then I'm gonna do lates, and I would assign it to myself. And I was the type of dude like if my Marines hadn't eaten, I wasn't eating.
Right.
So,
right. I mean, that's just and that's also something that the Marine Corps teaches. Like, hey, your guys eat first before you do.
Yeah. There were days where we had like just such a heavy workload that like we would work through lunch. I'm like, hey guys, like we're gonna work through lunch, but pizza's on me. Like I'm gonna order from Domino's.
Right. Yeah. We'd get that. We would get that so much. Yeah, we'd get that often. Too much to where we're like, fucking pizza, gang staff sergeant, change it up.
God. I lived on pizza and wings.
Everybody does. And alcohol. Everybody does. Alcohol for sure. And tobacco, if that was your thing. But, that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
Especially it being the fucking the Marine Corps. So you did your fucking time. You ended your service in Miramar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you ended up going back home. Is that what happened, or?
No. So I got out.
But before we get into this, one quick question, because for me it was kind of a bitch in my last year of getting out. Did you have any? Was it difficult? Did they give you the time that you needed to get your shit together?
Here's the thing. This goes back to your question when you asked me about reenlistment. And I was like, Thinking about it, like I had I had the CDI, I had the CDI stamp, I had the, like all the licenses, all that stuff. And I was working on more. I was trying to, go back for another deployment.
Right.
Like I was telling staff sergeants from other squadrons that are about to deploy, hey, like talk to Master Guns for me, please. Like I'd love to go with you guys. And they would do it. They were like, hey, like let us take Ratliff with us. And Master Guns would not have it. He wanted me there because like he could send his whole shop and knew that I would hold it down. And like with just like a skeleton crew there in the States. And I'm just like, man, this sucks. Like this isn't what I joined for.
Right.
But so, I sold myself short when it came to I was like, man, they're never like because of the PFT, like they're not gonna fucking like I'm not gonna make it. Like I'm not gonna make the cut. Like so I might as well get out.
Right.
Well, while I was still in, I had a suicidal ideation. And so what happened was it was fucking humiliating because they took away my CDI stamp and I had my office in the armory, like I had my desk and fucking they set up my desk inside of the division's, the division chief's office.
Yeah.
Like I had to sit in there with staff sergeant fucking sitting there and to make sure that because we're around fucking weapons. We're we had pistols and ammunition, but it wasn't like it wasn't anything real, to be honest. Like at first,
you were just kind of. Hey, brother, can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
This fucking camera froze up on us, so and I'd like to get your beautiful face on here. So I'm gonna pause this real quick, guys. We're gonna fix this, and then we'll be right back. Thank you. Pause. And we're back. Boom. Okay, sorry about that.
Hat is off.
Hat is off. So you were saying, sorry, you were sitting down with your staff sergeant.
Yeah, and so like I would just spend my day from fucking 07 to 16:30 in the staff sergeant's office.
Damn, was it like suicide watch or something? Is that what it was?
Pretty, like that's what it was, but like it was so humiliating, and like I didn't want to be seen by any of my fucking the Marines that I had and everything. And so this was because of the drawdown, they came out with this thing called the VERP. It was like the Voluntary Enlistment Early Release Program. Okay. And so my enlistment wasn't supposed to end until July of 2013. Okay. But it ended, I ended up it went through. I was just like, yeah, like this is humiliating. Fuck this. Right. I'm done. Like, this isn't what I wanted for my Marine Corps career.
Right.
And so I went through that, and I ended up getting out in November of 2012.
Wow. So you ended up getting out a whole fucking like a whole year earlier.
It was like half a year earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Like a few months.
Yeah.
But, do you think that's the steps that they had to take though, because of the fact that you were expressing certain concerns, or do you think they should have maybe taken you to get a psych valve and like a psych evaluation?
I think they should have done that. I think they should have talked to me in private,
right,
and been like, hey, like, is this legit? Can we like bury this?
You're right. Like, instead of just
okay. So here's what happened.
Okay.
Fuck, man. So I was on like Plenty of Fish, and I met this girl that I was like really into, and I was drunk one night, and like she like didn't want to talk to me, and so I told her like,
oh no, yeah.
Turns out she was in the Navy, and so she knew the steps to take, and so she called.
Shit.
Military police on Miramar. She was stationed at like 32nd Street Naval Base in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
So we're both in San Diego, and so she knew like what to do.
Right.
And so I'm just like sitting there like drunk, playing video game, probably playing Battlefield 3.
Probably, yeah.
And like I hear dun 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 on my door. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
And it's PMO, like, and they were nice, like they weren't like douchebags or anything, but they're like, hey, are you
Good.
Corporal Ratliff?
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, we just need you to come with us.
Fuck.
I was like, am I under arrest? And they're like, no, you're not under arrest.
Yeah.
And so they took me to, instead of taking me to PMO, they took me to my command, like the overnight command. There's a sergeant there who was just like, talking to me, and I went and spent the night with the duty sergeant, and he was really, like, they're really cool, but
of course.
But like, I hadn't done anything wrong. I just wished that instead of, them just like, okay, well, you're on suicide watch, they had like, okay,
taking a more private approach and like,
yeah, because like I could have proven that like, hey, it was just a drunk, stupid thing.
Right.
Like, I'm fucking good. Like, it'll never happen again. Like, I'm fine. I can continue doing my job. And maybe with some like guidance,
counseling or something,
had someone like guide me, I probably would have gone through with re-enlisting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of shitty that they just kind of
it's just like, and so my time was cut short. I did go through like the TAPS and TAMS class, but like
TAPS and TAMS, is that like what's that called? The Transition Readiness Seminar? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what we called it.
Oh, okay.
Like, they
all
like,
right.
I actually learned, I wish, so you had 3 options. So like the first 2 days of it was like everyone who was getting out within the next, 2 months or so. Excuse me. They were all like in this auditorium, and you had people speaking, and they told you like, okay, over the next 3 days, you can choose one of the following 3 paths that you can go to for the next 3 days. And so it was employment, college, or vocational, or vocational rehab, basically. So you could, or not rehab, but like vocational training. Okay. So I chose to go through the vocational training like option. Right. And so what it was they gave you information, or no, it was the vocational. No, there's 4 ways, because there was an entrepreneurial way. So cool. You had like people like guest speakers that were civilians that had been in the military and stuff like that. They come in and speak to you like, here's how I became successful.
What the fuck? They didn't do it.
Yeah, and it was like, they gave you little classes like, I was talked to by somebody from UTI, and
right.
What the hell was that noise? Yeah, so, but you also had like a college, like the college option, where they would teach you how to use like the GI Bill and how to do all that stuff. But I ended up so I thought that I was going to go like the vocational route and get like licenses and certificates and stuff like that and go through like that way. I didn't see myself as much of an entrepreneur, but so I didn't even think about that route.
Right.
But I should have gone the college route, because that's what I'm trying to do now. So
have you still used your GI Bill? Or
I used it. Yeah, I used it for a little bit.
Okay.
For a year after I got out. So when I got out, I stayed in San Diego. Yeah.
Let's get to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I stayed in San Diego for what was it, like 6 more years?
No shit.
2012. Yeah.
So you were in San Diego until after I got out of the service, huh?
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Okay. Shit. And so when you got out, big questions right here. Important questions. So you first get out of the service. Are you doing okay? Everything's good? You have a job? You're working, or what are you doing? You're on terminal leave, which is like your extra days of vacation that you never used?
Yeah.
Or what's happening?
So I get out and I get like a temporary job at JCPenney's. It was like I got out in November of 2012. So it was coming up the holiday season. And so I got, a job as a clerk at JCPenney's. And when that ended, I started delivering pizza at Domino's.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did that for a little over a year.
Did you end up did you end up feeling some sort of way, let's just say, did you end up going through some mental struggles when you got out, or was it just normal for a while, or like did you feel any separation issues, or like during your transition was there, like, did you have any time, like, did you have a difficult time adjusting when you got out, or was it fine?
I did, but I didn't notice. Like, I didn't like. I was like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But like looking back, like, yeah, definitely. Like at the time, like, of course, I wished that I was still in. Like, I always wish that, but like, okay, how do I say it? Like, I would get triggered real easily, I guess. Like, just people would piss me off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I had this girl at Domino's. She was 19 years old, and she was the assistant manager. And so we were real slow one day, and like it was my turn for delivery next. But she told me, she was like, "Hey, like, go stand outside and hold the sign." And I was like, hell no. Like, I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm way too overqualified to do that. That's what I told her. I'm like, no. And so she got all butthurt and told the manager, who, like the general manager of the place, he was also a Marine. So he was like, I get it. Like, and like he would call me in and talk to me. He was real cool, but like he was like, I understand like how you feel. I know you just got out.
Yeah.
Just try to chill. And then we'd go off and just like talk about, like he'd talk about his time. Like I guess he was in during like the 80s.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And it was like after Vietnam, and he was in the Marines, but also working at Domino's, and he had just made a career out of Domino's. So.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah. Did you feel a little bit like an outcast when you got out, or you felt comfortable? Were you fine? Everything was good? Or like, what would you say, for example, what would you say were your biggest challenges?
Immediately getting out, like, finding a new place to live. Like, I ended up finding a place that was like a 4-bedroom flat that was right next to San Diego State. And like my biggest thing was like, I lived with a bunch of college students, and I was like a few years older than them, but not too much. But God, they would party like all night, every night. And I was like, I would come out enraged, like I would like unplug their stereos, like, shut the fuck up.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I would like be on the verge of throwing shit.
No shit.
Like, yeah. They're all drunk and had a whole bunch of people over. And, it was one of those times that I had a $2,000 computer stolen out of my own apartment. Yeah.
Jeez.
Good thing renter's insurance paid for it, but...
Oh, no shit. Well,
yeah.
I mean, at least you got that. How would you... Did you end up going to the VA for any sort of, like, help with anything? Like,
So I didn't go. So I got out in 2012, and I didn't go to the VA till 2014.
Shit.
So yeah. So basically, I got arrested early in 2014. We're not going to talk about that, but so long story short, I ended up going to prison for like I was sentenced in October of 2014, and then had to the judge was lenient and let me turn myself in January. So like he gave me a few months to finish the college courses that I was in, and like go and see my family, and then you could report to jail for 3 months.
Fuck, man. I'm sorry.
And then I got out. I was on probation, violated probation. went back to jail for like another 8. Like I ended up going to prison for like a year and a half.
Fuck.
And then got out, and then fucking I was homeless in San Diego for almost 2 years.
Fuck. Man.
Yeah. And it was because of stuff that I was dealing with and trying to fill a void with, like after getting out of the military, like, you know, I just got caught up. So,
yeah. How would you, sorry, that just, oof. I'm sorry.
yeah, I don't think you knew about that.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude. That sucks. I was definitely still in. I was probably getting ready for my first my first deployment.
Yeah,
sucks,
so I was basically in prison from like 2015. I got out late 2016.
Jeez.
So
that sucks, dude. I bet that made it even more difficult, especially after just getting out of the service.
Yeah, but the good thing was that while I was in, there was a rep for the VA who like went to the jails and stuff, and she
Really?
yeah, and she would have the deputies call out veterans, and they would set us off in a classroom, and she would like talk to us about like, you know, what we could still do to like get benefits, and you know, if we needed help with claims and stuff like that. And she was so helpful. Like, I mean, she was great. Like, she even met with me after I got out. She had lunch with me and my dad, and like just to see how I was doing. Like,
wow. Look at the VA doing its thing.
yeah, like she was the real deal.
Yeah,
And she
awesome.
like knew the people to talk to like get like my benefits that I needed. And so while I was in, I filled out my claims and got rated for 80% by the VA and got back paid so far. Like, I ended up getting out and having like $27,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
Whoa. Jeez. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to say that was good or anything, but fuck.
Yeah,
that's some good money that you could start something up, you know.
Yeah, with like $1,600 every month for the rest of my life. So that's definitely
good,
helpful.
Dude. That's good to hear. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're doing better. What would you say? What would you say you would do, not differently, but like if somebody was in your position, right, and was going through the situation that you were going through, trying to fill the void of not being in the service, I guess anxiety that might come with it, because I had terrible anxiety when I got out for some weird reason.
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah, it's strange. It's very strange. And what would you recommend those guys or gals to take that? What approach would you recommend? A gym? Just stay busy, exercise.
Yeah.
Is that what helped you out?
Yeah.
Working out.
So, you know, so I told you I was homeless for 2 years in San Diego. Then I got my parole transferred here to Colorado, where my family is. And so, like, I would have the family support and everything. Totally. And with that, I was able to, like, you know, get to a gym and, you know, just like, because I was like, I loved like weightlifting and stuff when I was in high school, and I loved working out when I was in the Marines. I just hated the organized PT. That's what I hated.
Yeah.
But it's like the bond building.
It's what comes with it.
But I just hated the running, as you know.
Yeah.
But so like I just started getting back into weightlifting, got more serious about it, and like, you know, I'm gonna like try to actually get into like bodybuilding and powerlifting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, my shoulder happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
injuries will happen. I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like with my VA disability rating, I don't have to worry about that. Like, I didn't pay anything. They took care of it. So I just got to recover.
Right. And then get back to the grind, right?
Yeah. So, I started doing that, and it was like, that was my drug, was going to the gym
Yeah.
every day and like just grinding out hard.
It just helps
And
clear your mind, or what?
yeah, it huge. Putting the headphones on and getting there and just like feeling, just like seeing yourself, how you look in the mirror is like feels great.
Yeah, because you're doing
And
something that's improving yourself, and it's
and that's what I felt great about. And so I was like, I love this so much. I want to do this and like make money doing it.
Right.
So I started the National Academy for Sports Medicine Certified Personal Trainers course. And so, like, the test got, like, I started it back in February of this year.
Okay.
And, like, I finished it in May. And then, like, the test was scheduled for later than May, and then it got canceled twice because of COVID.
Right.
But I finally got to take it and pass it and everything. So, once I'm healed from this, that's what I plan to do is, take on, either get hired at a gym or take on individual clients.
Right. So that's fucking awesome that you're pursuing something that you enjoy doing. First of all, and you said that helped you clear your mind. Did you ever deal with any depression when you got out?
Oh yeah,
Big time.
Yeah. So that
like
was
borderline dangerous depression, or like just still fucking still just feeling shitty.
So like, I have a story that was similar to the one that you told me.
Yeah.
So after I got arrested and bailed out, I had a gun, and like I was, holding it to my head, loaded it. So it was a Springfield XD. It didn't have a safety. It was just a grip safety and a trigger safety.
Yeah.
So like a hard squeeze, if I was just, shake it like that, I could have squeezed it like on accident.
Totally.
But like after like 10 minutes or so, I was, I was so angry with myself. I threw the gun across the room and put a dent in the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Being in that position is speaking from experience. It's rough, dude. Like, when you were going through that, did you talk to anybody, or like what'd you do? You just fucking all in here, just kept it in. Fuck. How would you do it if you were doing it? If you were going through that shit now? Same? Would you hold it in, or what do you think? Did you ever talk to anybody about that?
I mean, I talked to my family.
You talked to your family about it?
Eventually.
You ever talked to
it took me a while to talk to them.
Me too. It took me over a year to tell them about that situation. Because I wasn't. Don't get me. I don't recommend you do that. Don't get me wrong. To anybody who listens to this and is going through a rough time,
like, if you're there, you're there. Like,
I don't recommend you hold any of that in. It's not good for you. It's not good for your family. It's not good for anybody.
Even, you call someone that you trust and say, listen, I need to talk to you. Like, this is important.
Yeah. And if they don't reach out, fucking reach out to somebody else, just because it's a matter of this much thinking time that it will take you to either do something very stupid that could leave your family and friends hurting. Like, I didn't even want to talk to my other Marine buddies. I didn't.
Yeah. Me either.
Like, did you start drinking a lot more when you're going through those times, or what were some signs that nothing? You were just kind of just fucking down in the dumps.
Yeah. Like, I just, like, I didn't have the money to, like.
Yeah, that shit hits you. That shit hits you hard, man, and you don't expect it. Like I was telling you off air, like, I never thought I'd be the one to feel that way. But if we weren't through that, like I said, you'd probably talk to some, like, if somebody was going through what you were going through before you got to the gun, before I got to the gun, like, would you recommend fucking
Where'd you go? Oh,
I'm still here.
you froze up a little bit.
It's just being stupid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I still good?
No,
Okay.
you're frozen. But yeah, it's perfect timing. Let's end it with this, right? If somebody was in the situation that you were in, where you were just feeling shitty, it sounds like nothing was going as you wish it would go. What would you recommend?
That's I would recommend. I mean, telling someone to reach out to someone, like you hear that a lot.
Totally.
And like that's so hard to do. It's like,
oh, I understand. Yeah.
I mean, like, and like trying, like when you have that much negative emotion, it's like super hard to like focus it on something positive, like bodybuilding, like weightlifting and stuff like that, or even like playing video games or something like that. It's you want to, like, when it boils down to that point, like, and like drinking could add up to that, drug usage, just tons of meaningless sex could all add up, just get you to that point, of the gun.
Yeah.
Where the gun comes in.
Yeah, you're right.
When you're in that cycle of abuse, I guess, I would say, like, you try to recognize it before it gets to that point.
Right.
And
before it
if
gets
you do
that bad.
if you're able to break out of that cycle, then you may be like, you could save yourself pain, like a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And like even going to the VA and maybe like taking small steps, because that was a small step for me. Talking to a doctor, like, I didn't think it would help. Yeah. Like talking to like a psychiatrist or a psychologist or someone, like I had like individual sessions with them, like 12 weeks, and they made me do like homework and stuff like that on like negative thinking, and like it was like cognitive behavioral therapy,
right?
That this VA psychiatrist had me doing. And I was thinking, like, she doesn't know me, she doesn't know anything about me, she's just doing her job.
So it was just more negative thoughts when you were there trying to.
Well, that's what I thought it was.
Right.
But the thing is that talking to her, like, to be honest, like I didn't really learn anything from her, but it just like got me more ready to talk to someone else who does care. Yeah.
Totally, because nobody, the Marine Corps doesn't train you, or nobody teaches you to talk about super dark thoughts like that. You know what I mean? Nobody ever. I mean, we all encourage it,
like,
right?
To this day, I can still hear my drill instructor, Staff Sergeant Hernandez, screaming, "Nobody cares!
Yeah,
nobody cares!"
Yeah, they train you.
You're in the pit. They're kicking sand in your face. You're just yes sir, 1, 2, 3, sir, sir, and they're like, "Nobody cares if you're in pain." On the hikes.
That's so true. I forgot about that. I forgot they really bury that in your head. They do.
And then I kind of like projected that onto other people. Like if I heard other people complain, I'm like, fucking nobody cares, dude.
Yeah. Suck it up. But that's just because I think that's the big mentality in I would say the Marine Corps, but I think in a lot of branches, it's a mentality where everybody's going through the same stuff.
It's a male mentality.
Oh, big time mentality. Because I think showing any sort of weakness is disencouraged. I feel like there's a little bit of a change happening,
But there's one thing that I do want to say.
Yeah.
The confidence, having that confidence in like carrying yourself like, tough Marine is not a bad thing. No. Like, you project that leadership onto other people, and they just see you like because I carry myself that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like my coworkers, anyone I'm around has this like instant respect for me. And then
Right.
I tell them like, yeah, I was in the military. They ask me like, were you in the military? I'm like, yeah, I was. Like, oh, like, yeah, I could see that. And then I tell them I was in the Marine Corps. They're like, oh shit, like,
yeah, it's a big impact.
But like, from where I was at that lowest low, I would define that as the lowest fucking point of my life.
Right.
Like PTSD like a motherfucker, depression, anxiety, just got arrested, facing charges.
Yeah.
I'm about to lose everything, like my belongings, like my stuff.
Your fucking freedom, dude.
Yeah, my like everything. I was just ready to end it, but like that being the lowest point to where I am now, like I just got like I'm getting ready to move into a new place. I got a great girlfriend. Can drive a nice car. Fucking, I play all the video games I want. I got I'm getting into the career that I want to be in.
That you enjoy doing. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm
so
super glad
like
to hear that.
Like what I would like to say to like anyone who could be watching this is like the tough times don't last, but tough people do. Like if you're mentally tough, you can last through it. Like that horrible time is, it will pass.
You'll get through
when you're in it. It doesn't feel like that, but it does. Whether it takes a few days or a few years, it will get better, because that's just how life is. And that's not to say that there's not going to be another like shitty time in your life. Years down,
Yeah,
but
life is full of ups and downs, man.
But like once you go through that, it's like, okay, like nothing is ever going to be this bad.
Right.
Like mentally, and that is the moment where it's like, you can add your Marine Corps toughness on top of that, but that's where true toughness is.
Oh yeah, getting through those times where you feel the most alone and like you have nobody that you can depend on but yourself.
And it's and you can attribute that to the Marine Corps, like just giving you that ability to fight back, against whatever negative circumstances may be going on. But
yeah, totally, because the Marine Corps prepares you for a lot of things. But with all this being said, man, I really appreciate you doing this podcast with me, and I know it's not something that everybody likes to talk about or something that everybody likes to share, but I'm glad you did it. It was nice talking to you. We haven't spoken like this in ever.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we did it, dude. And
we got to play some Battlefield soon.
Totally.
Or if you ever download Call of Duty, we could play Warzone.
Yeah,
Warzone is free. Yeah.
Once I don't have a bunch of shit going on, we'll totally get down to some games. But with that being said, I hope everybody enjoyed this. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And if you have any thoughts that you could relate with my buddy here, Zach, feel free to share them. Or if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to add on to this conversation, it'd be much appreciated to not just myself, but to everybody else who sees this. And thanks again for watching. I hope you guys stick around for the next one. All right, peace.